Welcome to Military Minute Now. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news from Eastern Europe. Ukrainian armored convoys have suffered devastating losses in what is being described as one of the most intense and destructive series of attacks since the conflict began. In a series of highly coordinated Russian attacks, multiple Ukrainian convoys were ambushed and decimated, leaving little chance for escape or recovery. New and shocking footage reveals smoldering wreckage of tanks and infantry vehicles stretching for miles along key supply routes, painting a grim picture of the battlefield aftermath. These supply routes, absolutely vital for moving reinforcements, ammunition, and Western-supplied equipment, have been systematically targeted in an effort to isolate and encircle Ukrainian positions. The timing of these strikes is critical, as Kiev was preparing for a major counteroffensive. Now, dozens of tanks and vehicles lie destroyed, their charred remains a stark warning to others. The attacks were not only precise but also overwhelming in scale, exposing significant failures in Ukrainian operational security and highlighting vulnerabilities in their air defense systems. Verified images from the scene show destroyed T-64 tanks, American-supplied Bradley fighting vehicles, and other armored carriers, all hit and disabled in a matter of hours, underscoring the ferocity of the assault. Russian forces demonstrated advanced real-time intelligence and seamless coordination, striking with both air and ground assets to maximize destruction and confusion among Ukrainian ranks. The psychological blow to Ukrainian troops is immense, as the loss of these crucial support columns signals a potential collapse in logistics and frontline defense, leaving many units stranded and vulnerable. This is not an isolated incident but part of a broader, deliberate Russian strategy to sever Ukrainian supply lines, disrupt command structures, and shift the balance of power on the battlefield. The destruction across multiple sectors marks one of the most significant and far-reaching setbacks for Ukraine in recent months, with entire battalions losing their mobility and firepower. As new information continues to emerge, it's becoming increasingly clear that Ukraine's offensive potential has been severely crippled, and the path forward is now more uncertain than ever. The loss of so much critical hardware and equipment in a single day raises urgent questions about Kiev's ability to sustain its war effort and whether Ukrainian forces can recover from such a devastating blow. The area around Pokrovsk in Donetsk has become a graveyard for Ukrainian armor, a stark testament to the ferocity of the ongoing conflict. What was once open terrain is now a landscape scarred by the twisted remains of tanks and armored vehicles, each telling a story of intense battle and desperate defense. Russian forces have executed a sweeping encirclement, trapping Ukrainian units in what military strategists call a cauldron. Here, entire battalions find themselves surrounded, cut off from reinforcements, and systematically decimated by relentless attacks. Drone footage paints a grim picture. Burned-out tanks and vehicles line the roads and fields, many destroyed in chaotic retreats or failed breakouts. The devastation stretches for kilometers, marking the path of withdrawal and defeat. Russian tactics, overwhelming artillery barrages, precision-guided bombs, and relentless armored spearheads have systematically dismantled Ukrainian defensive lines, leaving little room for organized resistance. The 110th Mechanized Brigade, once a formidable force, has lost the majority of its heavy equipment. Much of it now lies destroyed on the battlefield or has been captured and repurposed by Russian troops. The destruction extends beyond combat vehicles. Fuel tankers, ammunition trucks, and mobile repair workshops have all been eliminated, crippling the Ukrainian army's ability to sustain its frontline operations and paralyzing logistics. This classic strategy of targeting support elements ensures that even those who survive the initial onslaught are left stranded, unable to refuel, rearm, or repair their vehicles, rendering them ineffective in the fight. Ukrainian troops trapped in the pocket now face relentless bombardment from all sides. With supply lines severed and support units destroyed, they are forced to take cover and fight for survival under constant threat. Russian forces are methodically advancing, clearing out remaining resistance, and tightening the noose with each passing hour. The battlefield is being swept clean of opposition. The sheer volume of destroyed equipment scattered across the landscape highlights the immense pressure on Ukrainian defenses and the scale of the losses suffered in this sector. For Kiev, the battle for Pokrovsk is rapidly turning into a strategic disaster. The loss here threatens to unravel the entire Donbas defensive line, putting immense strain on command and control. If the collapse continues, it could open the door for further Russian advances deeper into Ukrainian-held territory, shifting the balance of power in the region and altering the course of the conflict. Russia's recent battlefield successes can be traced to the highly integrated nature of its joint operations, which combine multiple branches of the military into a single cohesive force. Ground forces, air power, and intelligence assets work in seamless coordination, rapidly identifying and destroying Ukrainian targets with impressive speed and efficiency. UAVs like the Orlan 10 and Zala play a crucial role, providing real-time intelligence and surveillance, which leaves Ukrainian units exposed and vulnerable to immediate attack. Once a target is spotted, precision strikes from Lancet drones, Krasnopol artillery, or Su-34 bombers follow within minutes, demonstrating a rapid kill chain that is difficult to counter. This rapid, networked approach gives Ukraine little time to react or reposition, resulting in devastating losses and significant disruption to their defensive lines. The Pokrovsk convoy attacks showcased this model in action. Drones identified targets, air and artillery strikes followed, and any survivors were finished off by loitering munitions, leaving little chance for escape. Beyond the front lines, deep strikes hit Ukrainian logistics and command centers, disrupting reinforcements and command structures, further weakening their ability to sustain operations. Ballistic missiles and long-range drones are also used to target critical infrastructure such as railways and depots, crippling Ukraine's ability to resupply and move troops efficiently. This multi-domain strategy, integrating air, land, and missile forces, is systematically degrading Ukraine's military from rear to front, leaving few safe havens. The effectiveness of these joint operations signals a mature, adaptive Russian military, capable of executing complex campaigns with precision, flexibility, and a high degree of technological integration. Russian forces are striking deep inside Ukraine, targeting military-industrial sites in cities like Kiev. These precision attacks aim to cripple Ukraine's ability to produce and repair military equipment, increasing reliance on dwindling Western aid. Advanced missiles like Kinzhal and Kaliber bypass air defenses, hitting aircraft repair plants and armored vehicle factories. The destruction of key facilities means fewer tanks, drones, and missiles for Ukraine's front lines. This campaign forces Kiev to divert resources to repairs, straining both domestic and Western support. Strikes on the capital's industrial heartland send a clear message: nowhere is safe from Russian reach. By dismantling Ukraine's defense industry, Russia is undermining the very foundation of its war effort. Russian advances are unfolding across multiple regions, not just Donetsk. In Kharkov, Russian forces have liberated settlements and pushed Ukrainian troops back, creating a buffer zone. In Sumy, artillery and drones have thwarted Ukrainian incursions, tying down enemy forces. The Donetsk front sees steady Russian gains, with fortified Ukrainian positions falling, and the path to Kurakov opening. In Dnipropetrovsk, long-range strikes hit airfields and logistics hubs, disrupting Western resupply routes. These deep strikes isolate the battlefield, weakening Ukrainian units before combat. The cumulative effect is a stretched, exhausted Ukrainian defense across all fronts. Russia's methodical approach is shaping the battlefield to its advantage. The numbers reveal the scale of Ukraine's recent losses. In just 1 week, Russian forces inflicted nearly 14,000 Ukrainian casualties and destroyed dozens of tanks, vehicles, and artillery pieces. The center group alone eliminated over 2,700 personnel and wiped out key armored assets in Pokrovsk. The South Group inflicted similar damage, destroying vehicles and artillery, further eroding Ukraine's firepower. Systematic targeting of artillery leaves Ukrainian infantry vulnerable to direct assault. Across all fronts, Russian groups have prevented Ukraine from rotating or concentrating its battered units. This relentless attrition is designed to exhaust Ukrainian forces and break their will to fight. The statistics paint a picture of a sustained, successful offensive. Ukraine's ability to recover from these losses is increasingly in doubt. The destruction of advanced Western-supplied hardware is a defining feature of recent battles. American Bradleys and German Leopard tanks have been destroyed near Pokrovsk, many by drones and artillery. French Caesar howitzers and American M777S have been neutralized in counter-battery fire. Even a HIMARS launcher was destroyed in a precision strike, reducing Ukraine's deep strike capability. These losses challenge the myth of NATO equipment invincibility and strain Western supply lines. Russian tactics have proven effective against even the most modern systems. Each destroyed piece widens the gap between Ukraine's needs and Western capacity to deliver. The cumulative effect is a growing crisis for Kiev's long-term defense. Russian air defenses have demonstrated near total control of the skies this week. Multi-layered systems intercepted a barrage of Ukrainian missiles and drones, protecting both military and civilian targets. Advanced systems like S-400 and Buk-M3 shot down tactical ballistic missiles, guided bombs, and hundreds of drones. In just 7 days, 465 Ukrainian UAVs were downed, blinding Ukraine's reconnaissance efforts. Air defense supremacy allows Russian ground units to maneuver with greater freedom and security. Numerous Ukrainian attacks on Russian cities have been thwarted, saving lives and infrastructure. The interception of HIMARS rockets highlights the effectiveness of Russian defenses. Russia's robust air shield has outperformed Western counterparts, ensuring control of the airspace. The cumulative losses for Ukraine since February 2022 are staggering. Over 623 aircraft, 278 helicopters, and nearly 26,000 tanks and armored vehicles have been destroyed or captured. These losses have crippled Ukraine's air force and left its ground forces in constant need of new equipment. The battlefield is littered with destroyed armor, a testament to relentless Russian anti-tank and artillery fire. More than 13,800 artillery pieces and 1,237 rocket systems have been eliminated, along with 917 air defense vehicles. Special military vehicles losses now exceed 29,000 units. These figures underscore the immense, likely irreversible damage to Ukraine's military capacity. The scale of destruction raises serious questions about Ukraine's ability to continue the fight.